Welcome to our video on funny stories about cross-cultural communications. Today, we'll explore amusing anecdotes that highlight the humorous side of cultural misunderstandings, showcasing how diverse perspectives can lead to unexpected and entertaining situations. In one story, an American businesswoman visiting Japan was surprised when her hosts kept nodding and smiling. She thought they agreed with everything, but later realized they were just being polite, not necessarily in agreement. A British traveller in Italy once asked for a pepperoni pizza, expecting spicy sausage. To his surprise, he received a pizza covered in bell peppers, learning that pepperoni means peppers in Italian. During a meeting in Germany, an American executive used the thumbs-up gesture to indicate approval. Unbeknownst to him, this gesture can be considered rude in some parts of Europe, leading to awkward laughter. A French tourist in China tried to compliment a local dish by saying it was interesting. The host, however, took it as a polite way of saying it was bad, causing a bit of confusion. An Australian in Spain asked for a napkin at a restaurant, only to be handed a diaper. In Spanish, servilleta is the word for napkin, while panal means diaper, leading to a funny mix-up. In India, a British visitor was puzzled when locals wobbled their heads during conversations. He later learned it was a common gesture indicating agreement or understanding, not confusion as he initially thought. A Canadian in Brazil tried to greet everyone with a handshake, only to find Brazilians prefer hugs and cheek kisses. This cultural difference led to some amusingly awkward introductions. An American in Russia was surprised when his hosts offered vodka at breakfast. He politely declined, not realizing that in Russia, vodka can be a traditional part of morning hospitality. A Japanese tourist in France was confused when a waiter shrugged after taking her order. She later learned that the French shrug is a common gesture, often used to express indifference or uncertainty. In Saudi Arabia, a Western woman was taken aback when her male colleague refused to shake her hand. She later understood that in some cultures, physical contact between unrelated men and women is avoided. A German in Mexico was amused when locals kept saying mañana in response to his requests. He soon realized it meant tomorrow, reflecting a more relaxed approach to time management. An Italian in Japan was surprised when his hosts slurped their noodles loudly. He learned that in Japan, slurping is a sign of enjoying the meal, not bad manners as he initially thought. A South African in Korea was puzzled when locals avoided eye contact during conversations. He discovered that in Korea, direct eye contact can be seen as disrespectful, especially with elders. An Malaysian in the UK was amused when locals kept saying cheers instead of thank you. He realized it was a common British expression used in various contexts, not just for toasting drinks. A Chinese student in the US was confused when classmates used the phrase break a leg before exams. She later learned it was an idiomatic way of wishing someone good luck, not harm. A Brazilian in Japan was surprised when his hosts removed their shoes before entering the house. He quickly adapted to this cultural norm, understanding it as a sign of respect and cleanliness. An American in France was puzzled when locals greeted him with a kiss on each cheek. He soon learned it was a customary French greeting, not an overly familiar gesture as he first thought. A Russian in Italy was amused when locals gestured wildly during conversations. He discovered that Italians often use hand gestures to emphasize their points, adding a lively dynamic to discussions. A Japanese traveller in Australia was surprised when locals called her mate. She learned it was a friendly term used widely in Australia, not a literal reference to friendship or partnership. A Spanish tourist in the US was confused when locals kept asking, "How are you?" She realized it was a common greeting, not necessarily an invitation to share personal details about her day. An Egyptian in Germany was taken aback when locals were punctual to the minute. He learned that in Germany, punctuality is highly valued, contrasting with the more flexible approach to time in his culture. These stories highlight the humorous side of cross-cultural communications, reminding us of the importance of understanding and respecting cultural differences. Embracing these differences can lead to enriching and entertaining experiences across the globe.